All right, welcome to Rich Lives Life. Today we're going to try to work on getting these bushings replaced. As you can see, there we go. As you can see, they're dry rotted, and this whole front end makes a ton of noise. I'm going to lift it up and shake it around and see what all is loose. But currently our main concern is these bushings, and we're going to replace them with some brand new energy suspension bushings. Hopefully these are correct. I got them for a Samurai, and as we know, this is a 1990 Suzuki Jimny. A lot of things are different, but some are the same. Yeah, so here's the part number. And this is for if you have aftermarket shackles. So I do, and let's get them off and see if they fit. Okay, so I have our list of maybes, or our pile of maybes. Well, I know I'm going to need the wrench and whatnot, but then we also have our sockets, jigsaw in case I can't get the bushing out. We have our chisel, hammer, rubber mallet, screwdriver, but I'm hoping, since they're old, that they will come out nice and easy for me, but obviously that's no guarantee. And there's also no guarantee that I can get this to sit correctly. What in the hell is going on? All right, let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I think we're set. So we have a, and I'm sure you're going to say, Rich, you should invest in some smaller tools. Yeah, well, I'll work on that. Especially for the Jimny. We are going to see what we have here. I believe we have a 17 millimeter and a 21 millimeter. Let's see. And I could probably get this off with a wrench, but why even worry about that? Yeah, that's nice and easy. Let's see. Oh, yep. So this doesn't fit in there. So we are going to change over to another wrench or ratchet. Let's see. Let's see if we can't get this to move first and see where we're at. Hear me walking around? Wagging around. Let's see. We have a washer. Okay, so that's probably under some tension. Let's see if we can't get the tension off of it. Let's first see if this moves. Okay, so it appears we were just stuck in it a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so that tells me we need to come down a little bit more. Let's see if it, maybe a little more. And I can't come down anymore. Let's see. I may have to. So what I'm trying to do is do this without removing my my tires and wheels, but I might. Yeah. Let's see. That's pushing me up too high, so I might just have to lift the front end of the truck up some. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm going to have to do. So I am going to pull this jack back. Pull the jack back. You know what I'm talking about. I am going to be in my own way. That's what I am. Throw it on that right there. I am going to try to release some tension. Oh, there we go. What I wanted to see was this to be nice and loose, and it is. So I just needed to stick a jack under the front a little bit and get the spring leveled out where it lines up a little better. It's not terrible. Let's see. Tell you what I forgot was a rag for my face because it's 90 something degrees outside as usual. So now I am going to make more noise. Mainly, I am going to see if I can twist this shackle out of the way. I'm going to start by loosening it because that should help do it. Let's see. Of course, this old ass wrench is hard to. Good Lord. Nothing like needing a pair of pliers to change the direction of this old wrench. What pliers? Who has pliers? Okay. Seriously now. Yep, what you hear is me wandering around looking for pliers in a 2,000 square foot building. It should not be this hard. You know where they're at, they're in my toolbox. Huh, funny story. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these up, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to end up replacing these, but they're not terrible. They're just, I want something a little newer, something with a center brace in it, because this is just a straight heavy bar of steel. It has a light twist to it, and that may be from the factory from when it was in Japan, but who knows. And sweating bullets. Let's see. So single bolt top, adjustable bottom. All right, got it. That one there. Can't get this out. So these bushings are newer, but they are split. And, well, talk about wanting them to come out easy. That's exactly what I wanted them to do. So the upper ones come right out, which is great. And something I just noticed, these don't have a sleeve. So a lot of these will have a sleeve on them. Let me see if I can find seriously, the other bolt. So these bolts don't have a sleeve that comes off. The sleeve is made onto the bolt. So I'd like to start by saying thank you, Suzuki, or thank you to the kit that whoever put this on, because I don't know if factory Suzuki has these bolts or if this is something that was aftermarket when they replaced them before. But what has happened is it's made it to where I don't have anything to remove out of these. Yeah, someone's put, these are really soft. Like these are like marshmallows. No wonder the front end makes so much noise. I mean this is a lightweight vehicle, but I mean, these are mushy. Let me see. Let's see what these look and feel like. Right? So here's our energy suspension bushings. Oh yeah, huge difference. So I'm squeezing them, people. I am squeezing them, and this is 2 fingers. These are junk. These right here are going to be great. Psych! So I went and bought all new bolts. There was no way I was going to cut that that sleeve. So I went with grade 5. I wanted a little more flexy instead of brittle hardness. So these should work fine. So here we are. We've got our bushing, our sleeve, our bolt, our washer. I'll run it through here. This is for the top one. I'm going to, actually what I should do is go ahead and put the bushing on the other side. I'm going to take a little bit of grease and I'm going to apply it to the actually I'm going to apply it to the inside of where the bushing slides in here, and then get it bolted up. I ended up having to drill one of these. Now that I have a larger 1/2-inch bolt in here, the hole was too small because the other bolt that came with these aftermarket shackles when it was in Japan were smaller. So I just used a 1/2-inch bit on the drill press and drilled that out. But it was only one of them that was the wrong size, so go figure. I have no idea why that is. But, you know, you buy something used or from overseas or wherever, you know, it is what it is. So I'm just applying a little grease in here. Nothing outrageous. And I'm going to put this bushing in over here. Now on a big truck, you would probably have to use either a press or a rubber mallet to get those in. These just popped right in like nothing. But you know, smaller vehicles, you know, lighter weight stuff. Put this in. Let's get that bolt in. I'm going to smack it with a mallet. Okay, and we're through. Going to throw my life away. Now I'm gonna throw the other side on, maybe. Yep, here we go. There we go, fella. There we go. And I slightly knocked this bushing. So here we are mounted up. I'll have to line the front end up a little bit. It was a little off to begin with, but here it is with the bushings on. The everything's tightened up. Lock washers. The don't forget when you're installing this that you have in this kit, at least with aftermarket shackles, you have 2 different length sleeves. And if you use the wrong one on top, like I did first, you think to yourself, and then I had like a 1/4-inch gap in here. And I was about to go grind the longer one. And then I realized there's 2 different ones in this box. So I'm only assuming, because I haven't had this kit before, that these are going to go on the rear, possibly. Maybe that setup is wider, and where I'm looking at, it does look wider. So I'm going to assume that these sleeves go back there. So the front is done and tightened up, and I grease everything. So I greased the new bushings, I greased the sleeve inside, I greased the back side of these where the new bushing touches. When it comes to an off-road vehicle, you know, you're going to be going through water and dirt and whatnot. This thing's mainly a pavement vehicle, but I plan on taking it off-road. I just haven't gotten it to the level that I want it to be at to be comfortable taking it off-road. So we will see. So we made it to the rear. This also has the what I call the squishy marshmallow bushings. They're like nothing. Hi, I'm a bushing. No, they're junk. Here's the new polyurethane bushings. Can't squeeze me bushings. They're gonna go. Man, help if I could use a camera. Getting a little overheated out here. It's 90 something. I'm whooped. So it's going to go in here. So the larger bushings do go in the back, and also the longer sleeve goes in the back. The back was nice and easy. I kept the jack where I had it in the front on the body, and just jacked the truck up until the leaf dropped out of it. And I mean the body of the truck, not the axle. So I don't have a jack under the axle. I have a jack under the front of the body in a safe spot where the steering stabilizer is. But this was easy to remove. Here's the sleeve that was in here. I just knocked it out with the old bolt from the front. So I just put it in here, hammered it from this side, and knocked the sleeve out. And then these bushings came out easy. You may not be so lucky, especially if you have factory bushings. You may run into having the steel sleeve that's on the outside of the bushing, which makes it more difficult, and you may have to use a chisel and possibly a sawzall to cut through that bushing to get it out, so that you can put the easily serviceable bushings like these. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put back together, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Now, when this thing was driving before, it has to be because of these super soft bushings. This thing rocked and rolled. I mean, this thing just is all over the place, swaying back and forth and whatnot, and it has to be these really soft bushings that give so much flex to the body of this thing. But we're going to find out as soon as I get done putting it all back together. So I'll be right back. So, surprise, there's another issue. The factory bolt out of here, when you look at it next to the 1/2 inch, it's really close, but it is some goofy metric. So it's just barely off too. I mean, it almost goes in the hole. I mean, I could probably thread it in the hole, but obviously you're not doing that. So I'm going to have to drill this out just so slightly to fit the bolt in. So I'm using the same bit that I used to drill the shackles. So I'm just going to open it up on this side and the other side so I can get them through. Obviously a little bit of a headache, but I'm not going to lie. The bushings came out so easy that who gives a shit if I have to drill a hole, because that simplicity right there makes up for anything that's difficult other than that along the way. So let me get that drilled out and put back together, and then we'll see what it rides like. So I ended up having to buy a third energy suspension, 1.2102R. I was short 4 of the big bushings, the 2045s. I probably could have bought these directly from Energy Suspension, but I found it simpler to buy another kit. And basically what I would also be missing would be the longer of the bushings. Those are actually the short ones. The longer ones are in the new kit. But yeah, I ended up with 4 of the kit came with 4 extra of the small bushings for the Samurai, and on the Jimny, on this front leaf, or front of the rear leaf, alrighty, it requires the larger bushing. So I just bought another kit and simplified my life. And then all the bolts that I used were, these were either from Lowe's or Home Depot, but the 1/2 by 20 by 4 inch is what I used throughout the build. And then obviously the 1/2 by 20 fine thread nuts. And then lock washers. So that's that. I'm gonna get these front bushings on these rear leaves. These have the factory bushings in them, so I'm gonna have to cut out the sleeve that's in there. I'm really hoping it's easy, but yeah, it won't be. So, all right, I'm gonna get to it and get this all back together. And here you can see the inside or rear of the front bushings also had the larger diameter part number 2045 bushings. And then on the front in the shackles, you have the smaller bushings, top and bottom. So, all right, I'm gonna get this apart and get it back together so we can see how we ride. Just a little heads up on what I've experienced so far. This side, easy peasy. Undid the nut, knocked the bolt out, done, jacked it up. Now, I did have to remove the shocks. Maybe not everyone, if they have more travel than me, wouldn't have to remove them, but I had to take the rear shocks off. Easy, 2 bolts, right? I think they're 11/16. I don't know what the metric is. Now on this side. So on this side, this bolt is completely seized inside that shaft. I tried an impact and everything, and nothing would break it loose. So on this side, I used a grinder wheel to cut the outside of the bolt off because I didn't have enough space on the inside. You can see I cut part of it off on the inside, but I didn't have space for my Sawzall. On the other side, I was able to cut it off. So that side has been a real pain in the ass. But yeah, so impact didn't break it loose. Then I used the saw on one side, on the inside, to get the nut off. And then on the outside, I had to use that 4-inch wheel. So now I'm gonna get these drilled out. Something you can see is the factory style bushings. They have a metal sleeve inside of here. So this has to be drilled out to remove the rubber bushing. And then right here where the spring curls, normally you can get a, I'm out of breath, am I dying? Okay, not dead. All right, so you can get a jigsaw or a Sawzall in there once you get all this gutted out of here and cut this bushing out. And once you cut that out, you can get the new bushings placed inside of here and then pushed back up and back together, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so there is nothing more fucking satisfying than when this thing lets go from in here. Nothing on this earth. But the easy part is drilling out the plastic or the rubber. Yours might be broken all the way through. I mean, these looked like they were original to, I guess, probably these aftermarket springs. And I only say these are aftermarket is because factory ones are fairly flat. I didn't put the suspension lift on. And it doesn't have a name on these, but these, I think they're probably a 2-inch lift. And then they're shackles, so this thing probably has about 3.5 inches of lift because it fits 31 10.5s without rubbing. Regardless, the whole point was this here, this fucking asshole right here. But still, cut through it. I used this here. I cut through, careful not to hit your spring, but this is hardened, so even if you touched it a little bit, you're not going to hurt the spring probably. But I was careful about not hitting it. I cut right where this groove is at, where it curls in, or where it's bent in. Cut through, and then if you have a good metal chisel, then you can tap it around the outside, and then get under, like I'd say this edge right here, which is where, which is where this was, I think. I don't recall. It was somewhere. Oh, yep. It was right here. This is how this was in here. And I got under this edge, hit it, and then finally got it loose and was able to pull it out. I actually pulled it out this direction with a pair of channel locks once it was broke loose. So, all right, I'm going to grease it. Get the new bushings in, and oh, same thing I had to do with the rear section of the front leaves. I had to drill this out, right there, drill this out with a 17/32, I think it was 17/32 bit, to get the new bolts in. They're a little bit bigger than the factory bolts from Japan, so I just drilled that out so I could use the nice new bolts. But yeah, I had to drill this one out, and the rear, the front, the aftermarket shackles in the front, these worked fine without drilling anything, except one of the shackles I had to drill one of the holes, but goofball size on one of them. But that's it. I'm going to put it back together and then go for a ride, see if we have any more rattles, because this bushing was shot. The one on the other side looked pretty good, but I still have to drill that one out. So I'm going to finish up this side, that side, and all right, see you soon. Okay, all finished up and on. There we are. There's this one over here. And, you know, there's a few different ways you can get these lined back up. Is you can have the body lifted up, or the frame on jack stands, and then have a jack under the axle with the tires off the ground or the tires off, so that you can have easy mobility of moving these springs around. I probably did it the harder way by leaving my wheels on, but this thing doesn't weigh a whole lot, so I can move the axle around and get everything lined up by hand. If you're working on a bigger truck, obviously you would most likely take the wheels off and have the frame on jack stands and a jack under the axle, so that you could move the axle around and line your leaves up. But on something lightweight like this, I personally didn't need to do that. So, but it's all back together. I've gotten rid of one more rattle, which is great, but I have a few more rattles I have to work on and try to figure out and quiet this thing down a little bit. So, but that's it for now, and enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to watch some more videos on the Jimny or other vehicles or other garbage that I put online. And I will talk to you later. Have a good one.